In this video, I will be showing you how to easily mold rope into a very functional, deadly slingshot. The first step is to simply trace a picture of a slingshot onto a thick piece of pine. I'll be using the Rambone slingshot files for this. Next, you're going to need to cut it out. I'm going to be using a coping saw to cut it out. The reason for this is because it can do very sharp turns. Once it's cut out, it should look like this. The part that you're going to need is the outside part. The actual wooden slingshot is not required for this. This here is going to be your mold. I've now cut out another piece about the same size. What we now have to do is screw this mold onto the top of this piece of pine. So first you're just going to need to drill holes, and then you're going to need to insert some screws. I'm going to be using 50mm long screws for this. Make sure you put them in nice and tight so the mold doesn't move. Okay, so now you're just going to need to tap the wooden slingshot frame out from the mold. Your mold is now complete. Okay, so now you're going to need some nylon rope or cord. I'm going to be using this camo colored army cord simply because I like the color and I want my slingshot to look like this. Next, you're going to need to take some scissors and cut off about a 3-inch long piece, and continue doing this until you have a container full of it. You'll need to cut up about 8 meters in total. So next you're going to need a heat gun. Heat guns are available at any local hardware store for about $20 to $40. First step is to simply put a little bit of your rope inside your mold, as you can see I'm doing. Now you just want to turn the heat gun on and apply some heat to it. You'll notice that it starts to melt. As you can see, the rope melts pretty easily when the heat is applied to it. Okay, so you want to just continuously heat up the rope and melt it into your mold, and then you just want to keep on adding more and more rope and keep on melting it. You want to get your mold full of molten nylon. Okay, so this is what it should look like when it's completely finished. Okay, so now we're just going to let it cool down and harden. Okay, once it's completely hard, you can just go ahead and remove all your screws. Then you want to tap it a couple of times with a mallet, and eventually it will come apart. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and recut it out with the coping saw. Okay, so this is what it should look like once it's cut out. The next steps are going to be to do a lot of sanding and a lot of filing to get it to shape. Okay, so now I've got it to the basic shape that I want. I did this by using the rasp. Now I'm just going to use a file to smoothen off all the deep scratches from the rasp. Now that it's filed, I'll be using some sandpaper just to smoothen it off, and you can start at about 100 grit and go all the way up to whatever grit you like. Okay, so now that I've sanded it, it looks pretty good. I only brought it up to 100 grit, but you can go a lot finer to really polish it up. Okay, so we're going to be using TheraBand Gold for our slingshot bands, and first I'm going to mark it at 35 centimeters and then use a roller cutter to cut it. So now I'm going to be marking 8 centimeters along each side of the bands, and I'm going to be using a straight edge to line up those marks and make a cut directly along. This is creating a taper, which is going to make the bands a lot stronger and a lot faster. So now for attaching the bands, what you're going to need to do is fold the band in half, press it up against the slingshot fork, and use a normal elastic band to wrap it around and around. We're going to be using the same method for the pouch. This is called a tourniquet knot. All it is an elastic band being wrapped around and around, and it makes a very tight knot. As you can see, it works pretty well, and this is the strongest bond that you can do. So guys, we've got a 20mm ball bearing in the slingshot now, and we're just going to test it on our zombie head here. Yeah, I think it's pretty deadly. So guys, let's now see if we can puncture that big thick plastic soda bottle. Let's see if we can do it. We actually shot the lid off. Okay guys, so now we're just going to try and kill a can of Coke there. Let's see what happens. Right, so guys, now we're going to be testing on a piece of 18mm particle board. Let's see if it can go all the way through. Yeah, no problem. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out my channel, Backyard Armories, for more cool tutorials like this sling bow here. And if you want, you can even head over to my channel Backyard Bang, where we do lots of cool explosions and shooting videos. Thanks a lot for watching. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. See you later.